Welcome, everyone, to the dance floor, where life lessons are learned through the art of dance. I'm your host, Anna Harsh, and today I have a very special guest, Mr. Andrew Ferguson, and he is an alumni from Allegro Dance Company, and now he does photography and videos. So welcome to the dance floor, Andrew.
Anna, good to be here.
Hey, I'm so excited to have you on the dance floor because I know you are coming from a different artistic background, and not only did you share your dance skills with us for many years, but I know you brought a lot of theater to the stage, and now you've given me some hints on photography and videotaping dance. So we're going to chat a little bit about that. But before we do that, tell my listeners a little bit about yourself, where you are, and how did you get into film and all of that good stuff?
So I'm currently out here in Denver, Colorado. I relocated a little over 2 years ago. My kind of background is I have a bachelor's of arts in acting from Bethany College. That's how I got linked up with Anna here. So that is a performance background, theater with a vocal music minor. You know, my whole trajectory was I wanted to be on Broadway. The way I kind of ended up in where I am now is I started making little promotional shorts for the plays that we were putting on at my college. And from there, I kind of developed skills and decided that was somewhere that I wanted to pursue. From there, I worked in a media company. I made local commercials. I did my own freelancing. I've shot music videos, one of which Anna was nice enough to lend her dance skills to. And I've just kind of developed everything from there. I'm out here in Denver now, and currently I'm working with an e-learning company, and I've got a contract making educational videos that are meant for kids 5th grade through 12th grade, kind of illustrating interesting science concepts, history, pretty much any subject that strikes my fancy, and that's where I've landed now. I also do landscape photography, cityscape, some model work, just anything really, as I'm trying to build myself, my portfolio, and my work farther and go on forward.
That's perfect. Yeah. We as artists, it doesn't matter what background we have. I think we always can create and make other jobs, I think, more interesting to look at, more interesting to be around. Yeah, I know a lot of people that are into real estate, they use people like yourself to sell their homes, right? You can canvas the whole home with a drone or inside and take really nice photos as well as videos. Definitely, it's in every aspect, isn't it? And I know you've taken like some headshots and things like that, and some interesting shots of just different kinds of aspects, like from food to dancers on the stage to everything.
Photo and video is pretty much kind of like become interwoven with all modern society, just because we all do have a pretty powerful camera in our pockets if you've got a smartphone. And so the concepts of like how to make a good video, how to make a good photo have gone from, something that was more high-minded solely for artistic people. And I really think that those how to make something look good are really applicable to everyone's everyday life right now. And, I shouldn't give too many secrets away, otherwise where does my job go? But it's not really that hard to go from just snapping pictures to being able to think a little bit about it and really create nice looking pictures that'll make your, friends, acquaintances go, wow, that looks good. And it's just down to understanding a couple rules of, photo framing, composition.
Yeah. And as the holidays approach, I know that we can't always get together right now during the pandemic to take a group shot. But whenever we do get back together as a group, even as friends and family, I know with Allegro, I talk to a lot of the alumni like yourself, and whenever we can get back together, give us a tip about taking a group shot, just something that we can do without it looking so strange for these holiday photos when we gather together.
So the best thing I can say for a group shot would be to think about two things: your lighting and your framing. So group shots are often really kind of improv. Everybody come over here. But if you can take a second to kind of think about where is the biggest light source in the room and put that behind you and in front of your your group, so that you're not dealing with a very bright source behind the group that messes with the exposure. That's why you may think a room is really well lit, but when you take a picture, everyone's really dark, and that's because your camera is seeing that huge bright light behind them and exposing for that versus the actual people. So if you flip that around, then you're getting the advantages of that light on the people you're taking a photo of, but it won't cause them to be really dark and mess with the exposure.
A lot of people want to gather around a window, and I'm like, no, please don't switch places. In other words, put the photographer with the window behind the photographer, and then put the group in front of the photographer so that the light source is hitting their faces and not on the camera. So I try to think about that as I'm teaching all of these Zoom classes too, because I want the light source to be behind the camera so that they can see the movement and see the class really well and not worry about, well, what was she doing? I can't see her arm, or it looks shadowy. So yeah, putting the light source behind the camera is really a great tip. And that takes care of a lot of your problems. Give us one more, Andrew. Like if we're crowded around, I mean, I know we can't right now take group photos like that. We can't be close in a room, but once we can and we want to celebrate, what about posing people? Is there a trick, some kind of trick that we can do, levels or anything like that?
So posing people, it is going to be down to kind of what the specific composition of the group is. But yeah, definitely. If you back, I think, to what I was saying about framing. So, create lines that draw your eye to a specific subject. And if you're taking photos of a group, then you're normally trying to create a center focus. You can do that by one of two ways. You can either put the shortest person in the center and then flank them with your tallest, kind of creates a downward convergent angle, draws the eye, or the opposite. You put the tallest in the center, and then that does the same effect. It just kind of flips it. With the way you frame something, you really, if you think about the geometry of everything, how the different elements of the photo create lines that aren't physically there but are there more in an abstract, and how that kind of draws the focus of whoever's looking at the photo, that's the way to really create a photo that, even though it's still, can create movement of the feel of the room, the setting of what was going on. So thinking on that level is a great way to take something that could look like just a snapshot you did haphazardly and turn it into a really nice photo that people would look at and say, wow, that looks really good. That looks, what is the difference in that? And it's just down to those little tricks that you wouldn't even think of unless somebody told you to.
Right. I love the photos that always look like you could imagine them in motion. I know when we've taken photos for Allegro, I always say, oh, do a spin or, twirl your partner. And we catch that action and it just looks so much more full of life rather than a stagnant shot where everybody's facing the front and really squared off. It doesn't give it texture or movement, like you said. So those are great tips, putting somebody that's the shortest in the middle and flanking out, or the tallest and make it sort of like a chorus line, right? Okay, Andrew, we're going to take a little commercial break here. And when we come back, maybe you can talk about what inspires you right now as a photographer and videographer. So we'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the dance floor. I'm here talking with Mr. Andrew Ferguson, who's having a birthday soon, right?
Yeah, I'm 3 days away from the big 3-0, turning 30.
Oh, so it's a big birthday this year. Well, happy birthday, Andrew. And I know you'll be celebrating. You were chatting with me earlier about tips on photography. And I know the dancers out there are like, yeah, but what about my video? Right now, choreography is all being done video-wise because we can't get together and perform shows like we usually do on a stage or at an outdoor festival. So I know I've produced a few video projects this year and put them out for Allegro Dance Company. Greg and I recently talked about in a previous podcast about some editing programs and software that we use. Is there something that you love right now or that you're really into as far as software or camera-wise?
So, software, I've been using the same software since I started in video. I'm a Final Cut Pro 10 user, which is not quite the industry standard, but it's a very user-friendly software, and it's, I feel, a quick turnover, and especially in the kind of contract environment I'm currently working in, being able to very quickly go from concept through shoot through edits, proofing with the client, being able to do that in a very quick time is very useful to me. So even though Final Cut doesn't quite have some of the same abilities that like Premiere does or the entire Adobe, still more than sufficient for what I'm currently making, and the ease of use, being user friendly, is what I'm valuing currently, and it's what is making it really useful and helping me, kind of grow my business right now.
Yeah, I know that editing kind of sucks up your life. Like once you have a project and then you have to go back and edit, that really is the time draining system that we all are going through. But is there any tips or tricks? Do you do something first when you're editing, or do you like to do something that makes that process easier?
With my editing, it really depends on the length of a project. Like shorter stuff, like 30-second commercials, those are easy to kind of just throw down your audio track, find what you're looking for, work on graphics. For longer things, like I've made corporate training videos that were a half hour or longer. It's really daunting to kind of look at and go, oh, I got to take all of this random footage and turn it into something. But in kind of the same way, when I was acting, I would work monologues by breaking it up into smaller pieces that were much more manageable. And then once you're able to say, I'm done with that, I'm going to move on to this next thing. And then eventually have made your kind of creative Lego blocks and you can put them all together. And suddenly your finished monologue, your finished video, everything just kind of appears out of what were these smaller parts that you're working on. And because you're just focusing on, I only need to look at these 10 seconds at a time, it's a lot easier for your brain to digest and kind of takes away what might be otherwise a whole lot of creative block.
And as you know, that's kind of what I do with choreography. We learn dances in small chunks, and then each week we put those pieces together, like you were saying, like Lego blocks for sure. And then all of a sudden it turns around and you have a whole piece or you have a whole production that you're really proud of to present. I usually ask dancers what's in their dance bag, but I kind of know what's in our dance bags. But what's in your camera bag that you're like, I can't leave to go do my job unless I have these things?
Obviously, my camera is the biggest one. I've got a Canon 80D. I'm a huge Canon fan. If you're thinking of getting into real photography more than just your phone, Canon DSLRs and Canon mirrorless cameras are extremely high quality, but even more than that, Canon's customer service is the best in any industry I've ever dealt with. Otherwise, I always have 3 lenses in my bag whenever I go anywhere. My primary video lens, it's got a pretty wide focal length all the way to a reasonably long one. It's got inbuilt stabilization, so it helps with getting good stable video, even if you're in kind of odd circumstances. Otherwise, Canon EF f1.8, so it's one of their cheapest lenses, only costs about $100, but it's online called the Plastic Fantastic, because for such a kind of looks like a toy basically, because it's plastic and not very robust looking, but it gives great image quality, and 1.8 lens is very wide, we say, so it lets in a lot of light. You get very good depth of field for things like portraits. And then the other one that I'm always using is a Canon 40 millimeter pancake lens. So it's a very thin lens. So you get a reasonably good aperture and focal length, but it doesn't take up any weight on the camera body. So you get a lot of flexibility because you can just throw it on the camera body, go hiking or walking around the city, and just snap there, instead of like with, there are really high quality lenses that are like 300 and 400 millimeter, all these things, thousands of dollars, but they weigh like 10, 15 pounds. And
yeah, nobody wants to carry that around on their back. As you know, with Allegro, like our extra things that we, besides our costumes, if it doesn't fit in the back of my car's trunk, we don't take it on tour.
exactly.
Because it becomes too bulky, too heavy. Things have to be, in a proper place and very organized. And I'm sure your cameras have to have proper, storage too, and to take care of them. Well, Andrew, I know that we've both lived some full lives at this point in our careers. And I know that I've learned a lot of life lessons. And that's the other thing we talk about here on the dance floor. What's something life lesson that you've learned maybe from photography or dance or video?
I think the biggest personal lesson I've taken away from my time in photo and video and everything is don't be afraid to try again. If something doesn't go right, do another try, snap another frame. When I was first starting out, I'd take 2 shots, and oh no, I screwed up the focus on this one, and this one doesn't look good. So I've learned as I've gone on to always do more, do another try. If the first one you look at, it's this isn't good, go back and do it. And in no situation in life where you've only got one shot, don't be afraid to put in the extra work and do it over again. Improve yourself, and even not right away. I'm actually working on getting together the kind of gear and crew to remake the first short film I ever made. I wrote it right out of college. I rented a lot of gear, and I thought it was going to be great, but to be entirely honest, had no idea what I was doing. And so it's a well-written script, but it looks like crap. So here I am 7 years later saying, you know what, I can do that again. I can probably do it better. And
yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's a few pieces of choreography that I'm thinking about remaking and redoing and rethinking. It changes with dancers throughout the years. It changes from, your perspective of what you've learned and how you see the world. And that also changes of, how you remake something. So I agree. Giving things a second try, Lord knows dance, you can't get everything on the first try. That's just not going to happen. That's rule number 1. It's just not going to happen. And if it does, kudos to you, because there's many of us that don't get, that amazing pirouette on the first try. No way. So yeah, you've got to have 2 or 3 takes at something. And I think that goes for lots of things throughout your life, for sure. Andrew, you've been a joy to give us all these great tips and amazing information. And I hope you have a wonderful birthday. It was wonderful seeing you, even if it was just for a video wise for a little bit. I know that we spent most of our summers together for sure on tour with Allegro, and that's some great memories of you. And I know that you always came up with a backstory for every character I threw at you, on stage. And I love that. Thank you for your time with Allegro, and I can't wait till all of the alumni can get together again one day, hopefully whenever the pandemic is over and we can all enjoy each other's company on this side of the country for a little while. I know everybody's sort of spread out all over the place, but I'm glad you're thriving out there and you're doing some amazing work, and look forward to doing something again with you, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was good to be here. Glad you could have me.
I know. So, Andrew, if we have more questions, or if somebody wants to hire you to do a project, how can we get a hold of you?
The website is andrewferguson.me.
And spell Ferguson for my listeners out there.
That would be Ferguson.
Perfect. So hit up Andrew. He does some amazing, great work. And it was really fun to do that music video with you. I know I danced in one of those music videos for you. And I know you've done some photography for Allegro. When you weren't on stage dancing, you're backstage helping me and doing some amazing stuff there as well. So everyone, take a look at Andrew's work. It's pretty unique and really interesting to watch as well as look at, because he does photography as well as video. So if you're in the Colorado area, right? Where are you in Colorado?
I am in Denver. So I'm right here in the Denver metro area.
Okay, so if anybody's in that metro area and you need photography, maybe for your holiday season coming up, I know it might be snowing pretty soon there if it's not already, right?
So we just had another snowfall last night, so we're already in the winter wonderland out here.
Oh my goodness. So if you want to get some really cool shots, maybe with your family outdoors in the winter holiday scene in that Denver area, hit up Andrew and let him, come to you and take some safe photos outside of you and your loved ones, maybe that you can do for the holiday, and smack that on the Christmas card and have a great, great holiday season. Andrew, sending you all my love, and I hope to talk to you soon. And we're going to take another little commercial break, and I'm going to tell the audience a little bit more about Allegro and some upcoming events that they can do for free. And so stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. That was Mr. Andrew Ferguson, one of our Allegro Dance Company alumni, moving on now, doing photography and videography out in Colorado. So don't forget to visit his website and check out his wonderful work. I just wanted to tell everyone about Allegro Dance Company and our upcoming events. We have some wonderful free events online that you can participate no matter where you are around the world. On November 25th, I'm hosting a restorative yoga class at 6 p.m. It's the day before Thanksgiving, everyone, November 25th, restorative yoga. And I'll be coaching you through these wonderful, relaxing poses of yoga that really help you replenish and rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit. What a wonderful way to stop and reflect before the Thanksgiving holiday. So go ahead to our allegrodancecompany.net and register for that. There's a link right on the events page. So if you go to our website, allegrodancecompany.net, click on events, and you'll see all these wonderful free events coming up. So November 25th is the next one, everyone. Restorative yoga at 6 p.m. So grab your pillows, grab your blanket, and enjoy this wonderful, relaxing class. December 6th through the 20th, I'm offering a Merry and Bright fitness class. We've chatted about it before, but this is a wonderful mix of Pilates, yoga, and ballet bar. Don't worry, you can be a beginner and take this class. Everyone can enjoy it. December 6th through the 20th, Merry and Bright. So I can bring a little fitness that can be a little bit brighter for your holiday season. It's going to be every Sunday at 6 p.m. December 6th through the 20th. Join us for Merry and Bright Fitness, a lovely mix of bar, yoga, and Pilates. Don't worry, you don't need to have anything. Just sign on and you can get registered. Now that series of classes is $25. So again, go to allegrodancecompany.net and register yourself. Click on that link, $25 for 3 classes. Now, if you register for that Merry and Bright, guess what? There's another free class on December 31st, New Year's Eve. Take time to create a new you for 2021. I think we all could use a break, right? So New Year's Eve, December 31st, I'm having a wonderful yoga flow that mixes not only the yoga flow and our postures, but also a little bit of restorative, a time to reflect on your year. It's been tough for so many people around the world. So take time with me, December 31st, New Year's Eve. It's a yoga flow that helps you reflect about the past year. And that's going to be Thursday, December 31st at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope you enjoy all of these events. Don't forget, Restorative Yoga, November 25th, December 6th through the 20th. Every Sunday is the Merry and Bright Fitness. December 31st is New Year's Eve Yoga Flow, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just go to allegrodancecompany.net where you can find all these amazing events so you can make your holiday season a little bit brighter, a little bit more joyful, and maybe you can find a little relaxation and peace. If you love this podcast, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You've been listening to The Dance Floor. I'm your host, Anna Harsh. Until next time, I hope you keep on moving on the dance floor.